How did the Miami Dolphins go from this to this in just 3 short seasons? Stick around to hear this insane story that includes 4 starting QBs, 2 head coaches, an alleged conspiracy of collusion, and so much more. Our journey begins at the start of the 2018-19 season, when the Miami Dolphins blew up their roster, getting rid of their core group of Ryan Tannehill, Laramie Tunsil, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Kenyon Drake, in exchange for a boatload of draft picks and cap space. They are preparing to be one of the worst teams in the entire NFL. New head coach Brian Flores was stuck with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh Rosen as his starting QBs, and a roster full of journeymen and practice squad players leading the charge. Fans were promised this painful season would be worth it, however, due to the absolutely stacked draft class that featured Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, and Justin Herbert. Of those elite quarterbacks, one stood out above the rest: Alabama national champion Tua Tagovailoa. Although Tua started his freshman season as a backup to the future NFL QB, Jalen Hurts, he put his name on the map when he threw the game-winning touchdown in the 2018 NCAA National Championship game. After a stellar performance that included 166 passing yards, 27 rush yards, and 3 passing TDs, he was named the offensive most valuable player of that game. NFL fans were put on notice as Tua was practically destined to be a lottery pick. His following season was a victory lap, as Tagovailoa was second in Heisman voting behind only Kyler Murray, won the Walter Camp Award and the Maxwell Award, was the offensive MVP of the Orange Bowl, and even set an NCAA FBS passer record of 199.4 for the season. Despite a brutal loss in the national championship game, Tua was a bona fide star and was projected to be the best QB in his entire draft class. His 3rd season at Alabama was a heartbreaking one, in which he suffered injury after injury, culminating in a devastating hip injury that kept him sidelined for the rest of the year. At this point, Tua decided that his best course of action would be to declare for the NFL draft, finishing his college career as the NCAA record holder for passing yards per attempt, passing efficiency rating, and total yards per play. Despite his injury, Tua's future looked as bright as ever. All season long, the Miami Dolphins targeted Tua as their franchise savior. Every embarrassing loss was justified in their pursuit of the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. After starting an abysmal 0-7, they inexplicably started to win some games, finishing the season 5-11. While fans were scratching their head at the outcome of the season, luck was on Miami's side, as Tua's draft stock plummeted as a result of his injury, making him available to be selected with the 5th overall pick.
The Miami Dolphins select Tua Tagovailoa.
Along with Austin Jackson, Noah Igbenogany, Robert Hunt, Raekwon Davis, Brandon Jones, and Solomon Kindley. Yeah, remember when I said the Dolphins traded for a boatload of draft picks? I wasn't kidding. Though they got their guy, Tua only started 9 games, many times getting bailed out by Ryan Fitzpatrick in the second half of close contests. The excuse from the team was that they were nursing Tua's hip injury, and after an impressive, albeit disappointing, winning season, there remained hopes for the following year. In the offseason, they drafted Tua's former teammate at Alabama, Jalen Waddle, along with some key pieces to bolster their defensive unit. The expectations were growing, and patience among the fanbase and the organization were running thin. The team got off to a historically disappointing start, winning just 1 of their first 8 games. Although part of this was due to Tua suffering yet another injury, it was becoming clear that there were some internal issues going on in that front office. One of the first signs of this was when Coach Flores decided to start Jacoby Brissett instead of Tua Tagovailoa, even when both QBs were healthy. Rumors of tension within the organization were rising, but were quickly dismissed as the Dolphins went on an impressive win streak to end the season 9-8, just barely missing the playoffs.
The first half of the games, they were not looking like the defense they have in past years, but that took a full 180 the second half of the season when they went on that enormous win streak.
The 2022 offseason has been the most dramatic in NFL history, and the Dolphins kicked it off by firing their head coach after 2 consecutive winning seasons.
All of Dolphins Nation was shocked because you never see a coach that had a winning season like that and all of the success in the past just get fired off the spot like that. Analyzing the move, he wasn't very successful running an offense and putting together an offensive coaching staff. He was very good and very successful with getting a defense together. His defense ranked top in all categories, and it was extremely successful, but definitely a weakness was his offensive staff. He ran a dual offensive coordinator scheme, which was a total failure.
This filing led to Flores filing a lawsuit that, amongst many off-the-field allegations that are far beyond the scope of this analysis, alleged that owner Stephen Ross had offered Flores $100,000 per game that the team lost as an incentive to tank for Tua. Furthermore, he claimed that Miami had tried to tamper in the previous offseason to lure an unnamed star quarterback to South Beach, which many have speculated was NFL GOAT Tom Brady. They started the offseason by signing offensive-minded coach Mike McDaniel to change the culture of the team.
He's an offensive guru. Everyone says he's a savant. So just happy to have someone after all these years since Marino be offensive-minded.
While former coach Brian Flores seemed to lack faith in Tua, McDaniel seemed like the perfect guy to take Tua under his wing and coach him into greatness.
It did seem like there was something missing there. I don't think Flores got the most out of Tagovailoa, and I don't think Tagovailoa got the most out of Flores. Tua has some weaknesses in his game, but he also has a lot of strengths to his game. He's got very amazing accuracy. His arm isn't as weak as people think they are. Yes, he isn't a Justin Herbert. He won't be able to launch it 80 yards down the field with that kind of velocity. But I think Tua has a lot of strengths that have not been tapped into. And Mike McDaniel's coming in and he's saying, hey, you're our quarterback. We believe in you. I think that's the most important thing that Tagovailoa needs to hear right now is that people believe in him. And he has the knowledge, he has the coaching ability, and he has the scheme and to draw plays for him and work to his strengths.
At this point, the Dolphins needed to change their public image and fast. They had the most cap space in the league, but the time was now to make good use of it.
I mean, Miami did enter this offseason with the most cap space in the entire NFL, and there was no excuse for not going out into free agency and making a splash. The free agency started slow for the Miami Dolphins. They got a bunch of mid-range guys. They got Chase Edmonds, who was probably initially their best signing in terms of talent.
But quickly, the Dolphins struck gold by signing Tarron Armstead and trading for Tyreek Hill, all within 24 hours. These massive pickups, along with speedster Raheem Mostert and wide receiver Cedric Wilson, have created an offensive juggernaut that is sure to compete in a stacked AFC.
But don't rule out Miami. Miami has one of the top defenses. They didn't really let anyone go. They didn't really lose anyone on that defense. That defense is still top 7 in my opinion. At worst, they have the ceiling to be top 3. The offense, we'll see how it works, but they have high expectations as well. If this team is able to work, they have the veteran leadership now. They have the new head coach. If this team is able to at least meet their expectations or exceed their expectations, they are going to be able to compete with these other high talented teams. They must start off strong. If they're able to start off strong, they have a very, very good chance at making a playoff push and even deep into the playoffs. And if McDaniel is able to set the tone, if he's able to have a veteran presence in this locker room, if the players are able to trust him, and he wins over the locker room, which I think he will. He's a very likable coach. I think those are the keys for me to the playoff push.
A few questions remain. Most notably, how will Tua perform given these new weapons for the Miami Dolphins?
He has health this season, which was also a big thing that wasn't there previous seasons. He's now has a much better offensive line that's still in progress. It's still not done yet, but it is extremely, extremely much better from last season. It's his final year. This is his audition year. He has all the tools. He has one of the best receiving corps in the NFL. The offensive line is close to done. So if he cannot live up to the potential of this season, I think that's where we will draw the line.
No matter how the upcoming season turns out, this is set to be an exciting one for the Miami Dolphins. If you've stuck around to the end of this video, let me know how you think the team will perform and where they stack up against the NFL's elite. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.